Isn't that just the perfectly perfect way to begin a broadcast like this? Choking. That's really great. Please excuse me while I have some beverage. Ah. well, well, really? Okay. I don't like how pasty I look on this camera. That's why I haven't really done a lot of the. Sorry, I'm watching the end of Modern Family. I'm sorry. Even though it's a rerun, I had started it before my shift began in China this morning, and like whenever I start a TV show and then have to abort it, I kind of have to finish it right because I sort of part of my brain is thinking about it like the whole time I'm in class. Not a big part, but I am kind of I'm kind of kooky that way. So listen, a lot of people seem to dig the sarcoma update I did from the radio station 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago. And I'm so honored. Like, thank you for like even bothering to watch that because it was really rambling, and I have a tendency to ramble on this show because I say this show. If you don't know what this is, I used to do a thing back when I was unemployed. It's easy to, it's kind of the thing to do when you're unemployed, right? Is to have a podcast. Well, I had a podcast. It was here. It was in the middle of the night called cBas After Dark, ripping blatantly Sheldon Cooper off from the Big Bang Theory. Because he had a thing called Sheldon After Dark, which was really just the recordings of him sleeping and talking in his sleep. Like I said, when I was unemployed and needed something to do, I came on YouTube. I believe all of those shows are available. Like you can just go and find them. I don't think they're even like hidden. Because it was interesting to me that I started it with a story that really kind of bothered me, that I felt like was getting ignored. And I still kind of feel like that guy got the shot. Guy who worked for a local Fox TV news station. Now, it was not a Fox News station in the way it was owned by Fox News. It was just a station that was like affiliated with Fox News. If you know me, you probably know the difference between ownership and affiliation of a TV or radio station. I like to think. If you don't, I won't bother explaining right now. I'm going to try and keep this on track because people, the thing I got the most from the sarcoma update wasn't necessarily that everybody liked knowing what is up. Some people liked knowing what was up with me, but more people liked just seeing me again. I don't like seeing me with glasses though, so I'm not going to wear the glasses, if you don't mind. And the hair, frankly, at 6 a.m, is not great. So it's a hat. I mean, it was actually tied back before. I have to wear I actually wear kind of a suit when I'm teaching my kids in China, just because I mean I don't wear pants or anything, but I'm wearing shorts. I wear like a button-down shirt and a suit jacket usually, not always, because hold on, my head's driving me crazy. Okay, I just feel like I don't know. I didn't mean to do it. It's not required. I kind of did it the first day. Just to dress up a little on the first day, and I liked how it looked on the camera. I'm like, oh, I don't quite look so bad. I hate how I look right now. That's why I'm glad I have my glasses on. Anyway, circling back to how I started this, it was actually in 2015 when I just gotten back from Mexico. I was just an English teacher a year at that point, and actually was not an active English teacher. I did not have a job when I first came back from the Mexican jungle, and I realized, as I've said before, I had it figured out there at the end in Mexico, and it is a tragedy that I aborted and kind of came back when I did, with possibilities. Now, on the other hand, factoring my cancer into this story is kind of not avoidable because it was percolating that whole year, and thinking back on it is really weird. Because I had had surgery here. Do you remember the surgery? If you know me at all, you probably do. In 2013, I had a really shitty year. I'm not going to show you much. I'll just show you this scar. What I had back here was a little bump. Not quite that big, about yay big. A little lump. Now, it was the kind of lump that looked like a cartoon character had been hit on the head with a hammer, right? Clunk. Like that lump that's on like Elmer Fudd's head or whoever. That's what I had, but it was here. It was not an area of my skin that had a mole or anything. It was just a lump, a bump, kind of spherical. It was like, a thumb sticking up, or like, the size of like a shooter marble, not a regular marble, bigger than that, but like a shooter marble, the bigger marble. Marbles. I'm so old. Anyway, didn't hurt. It was vascular, like it had blood vessels going to it, and it would bleed sometimes because I would have a backpack I would wear to good old Clear Channel Radio in San Francisco. Ow. I scratched myself. And I couldn't wear the backpack. It would bleed. I went and had surgery. This was right after I got fired, by the way. And it turned out that it was benign, they said. Oh, they said. Now, I'm not, I don't know about diagnosing these things. I sense it's really hard because here's the thing. Fast forward. Anyway, that surgery was done. They said it was benign. I went to Mexico for a year and learned to be an English teacher, like a year, and came back and kind of, was looking for what was next and didn't really know. Was desperately hoping it would be in radio or broadcasting or journalism. No, no, and no. Everybody said no. I put it forward like you wouldn't believe. Now, it's funny to think back because all of the places where I put things forward, not all of them, many of them are gone now. Al Jazeera English, whatever it is. NBC Radio, I think, has gone through a bunch of changes. What are they now? Is there still NBC? I guess there's still not Mutual. God, I am old. It's, why can't I say Westwood None? That's what I want to say. That was the one I was in my head that couldn't escape, Westwood One. But I prefer Westwood None because it was something that old Adam and Dr. Drew used to say on Loveline. So anyway, I came back from Mexico trying desperately to get a job in radio and couldn't. Or not radio, just news. I mean, I would have done TV producing. I would have done writing. I would have done web. It's interesting that a lot of the places that I applied at are gone now. In my old radio station I got fired from is gone now. It's all Spanish radio, Spanish sports talk. Just almost exactly like what happened in Frasier. And we used to joke about that in the radio station when I still worked there. Me and my buddy Robert Costa. Hello, Robert. Miss you. And even the people who are still there, like, I won't say names because they're still there, but the people who are not, like Gil Gross and Robert Costa and, Jen Lloyd. No, Jen Lloyd might still be there. Sorry, Jen, if I just called you out. No, I think everybody knows you worked there. It's no secret. But I would have liked to go back, and it wasn't in the cards. It wasn't, back into the industry, not the radio station. Didn't happen. So, English teacher, right? I just learned to be an English teacher and it's great. And so I got a job at Open English, which is on the internet. And I have students. I've now taught English classes to adults in Latin American countries, mostly for approaching 2 years. And it has been extremely good. Like I actually just this week, there's opportunities for advancement. Like I'm kind of a senior monitor now is what my title is, meaning that, I sometimes have my classes that are all mine, but I also have sometimes shifts where I'm just standing by to swoop in if another teacher has been disconnected or, slept through a class or just had whatever. I'm there to kind of see the board of all the English classes. And it's remarkable. Open English is quite a thing. Because you can see my screen allows me to see like sometimes there's 600-700 students online at a time, all taking English in, a dozen or more English classrooms, some private, some group. And all the different teachers are there and I can see that they're all teaching, I can't see them. I see a little green light. But it's cool, I like the English teaching gig, especially the online, it's like the future of education. And I'm really good with the computers, by the way. So I'm really good with making it sing. And if we're talking about a hot air balloon festival, I'll switch it to YouTube and throw up a time-lapse video. I have one favorite time-lapse video of a hot air balloon festival at sunrise, kind of pre-sunrise, so you can see when they fire it up. And I mean, it's not a requirement, but for instance, I don't see why teachers don't use Google Images all the time. Teacher, what's the difference between a van and an SUV? All right. Ooh. Or headphones and earbuds. That's kind of the traditional one. What is the difference? And I mean, I can explain and explain and explain with my mouth all damn day. Or I can go to Google and put up one search. Let's just do it, just to demonstrate. What do I do when I get a thing like that? This is what I do. This is rambly. I don't really care, though. Share screen. Can I share? How do I do this exactly? Give me a sec. Application window. That's what I want. And I'm going to share YouTube here. And I'm going to go to image search. Hey, Shatner. And then I'm going to go to headphones versus earbuds. You can see it's actually a saved search. And what is the difference between headphones and earbuds? They're related, right? They're totally in a category, but they're not the same. What are the differences? You're going to spend an hour talking about the differences, or you could just throw up one photo, or even a couple photos, right? Headphones, earbuds. And this one actually has headphones versus headsets, which I did not know, and I'm going to remember that because that's good. Because headset is a word we use in teaching English, actually, a lot, right? Headset. Different from headphones, different from earbuds in a lot of ways. So I'm happy. And then actually this year I did start teaching English with another outfit to kids in China. And I just got done with that. I'm doing that early in the morning because it's the evening in China. And that's when they kind of take their English classes. I have 3 classes that are kind of my regular classes. Benny, 4:30 in the morning. It's 3 days a week. And then I have like my group, which is Leo and Sky, the 2 guys. Jack, the 3 guys, Leo, Sky, and Jack. And then Betty and Tina, the 2 girls. So I have like a class of 5 first graders. And they are the coolest. It's one of those things. I never thought I would ever teach kids. Even on the internet, I never thought I would ever teach kids. So all of a sudden, my fact that I have the affection for and am, rooting for these kids, and we have a relationship. I can joke with them. I'm joking with my kids in China, not complex jokes, but I've had the wrong slide up, the wrong lesson up at one point. And first thing out of Benny's mouth was, "Teacher, I finished this." And I did this already. It wasn't quite that, normal English. He's like, "Teacher, I finish," and I instantly knew. I'm like, "Wait, what? Oh, yes, this is not even the right grade for him. He's done this a while ago." Sorry, Benny, but good catch. Thank you I was ready to just roll on half cocked with the first grade lesson for my 3rd grader. And there's all these different lessons. And the funny thing is I'm thinking about crossover in the 2 companies because I was worried about one company being mad that I would work at another company, but the jobs couldn't be more different, right? I'm a senior kind of monitor on this one side. So what I do is, just jumping in. I don't do a whole lot of teaching anymore at the old job. And then the newer job is kind of me and these kids. And it's my same kids every day. And I dress up and I'm on camera. And, it's like I'm kind of host of the electric company in a way, or the Dora the Explorer, if you wish, or, whatever you want. And I love it. And, when I think about having cancer, and this is going to be where I talk about this, I apologize. I'm not going to try and do it as much on Facebook anymore. I feel like that's not cool. This is going to be the place where I fucking get high and ramble about having cancer. And I'm going to be out of the closet about the getting high thing because you know what? Yes, I'm in pain pretty much all the time. Not always severe throbbing pain all the time, but kind of, I have this area where I've had enormous amounts of radiation and surgery. Should we count for a sec? 1, 2, 3 different courses of high dose stereotactic radiation. 1 to the armpit area, and then 1 for each lung. I had different things happening in each lung. I still do. We'll talk about that. I'm going to talk about everything. And this is going to be kind of a downer, I think, to follow this, but in a way, it's not, because I want you to see how sort of not. And yeah, my hat backwards now, bitch. Someone gonna stop me? No. This is another thing I'll be talking about at some point. I'm gonna try and do this regularly, just because. Here's the deal. It's probably true that my time is limited. I don't know how much. I feel great. I mean, with the exception of the pain, and I can't quite move my arm all this like this anymore. You know, frankly, I was way ahead of the curve as far as, you know, just fitness, I guess, kind of already. You know, I was a skinny, healthy guy. Really, I still am completely. I did just get over having some kind of cough lung thing, but I got over it faster than anybody who I had it or who gave it to me. I'm pretty much over it now. But I am having pain in my lungs, and the latest PET scan did show more stuff happening in my lungs. Like there is actually more cancer growing. I can pretty much be certain that I'm feeling it in my armpit here, because there's pain. Not right now, actually. It feels pretty good. During my class, though, I was having actually real bad pain. I was kind of trying to sit with my arm propped up, like pushed up, because I sense that when it's kind of down or hanging, or like, for instance, when I go walking and my arm's kind of going back and forth in a down, you know, it's kind of pulling down on the hinge right there or whatever, something's pushing on something else. And it's something that did not used to be there. And so now I'm having pain. The crazy part is I was having this pain very similar, 8 months ago, right before I started having radiation. And I remember telling the doctor, and then I remember it was like the week of radiation starting, and then it did start, and that pain faded almost immediately. Like it's almost hard to think it could be anything else other than the radiation started, and suddenly I didn't have that new pain anymore. It then was pushing on nerves and causing me like arthritis here. Like I was having this weird arthritis pain. It seemed to be like, at first anyway, when I would go walking in the heat, in the Arizona heat, right? And I like to go walking in the Arizona heat because I'm a desert rat and I'm from Arizona, and you know I love the desert. I like going walking, and yes, sometimes at 110 Fahrenheit, you know, in the afternoon, just bring water. Sometimes I will actually wear like a shirt soaked with a hose. I'll just go walking. And sometimes they're like, "How can you be wearing?" Like, I'll wear kind of a hoodie. Now it's a short sleeve hoodie, but I remember the hoodie I was wearing once, and the guy's like, "How can you be wearing a fucking hoodie when it's 110 out?" I'm like, "Well, I soaked it with the hose. Feel it's all cool." He's like, "Oh," he's like, "Why didn't you wear a long sleeve hoodie?" I'm like, "I don't know," but yeah, rambling much. This is going to be that. I'm trying to stay on track though. Anyway, I was telling the story of, you know, I came back. I'm teaching now. I'm teaching at 2 different jobs, and I'm doing great. Like I love my jobs. They're stable. I feel like I can do them until the day I die. When will that be? Based on how I feel, it seems like it could be 20 years. I don't think I probably quite have 20 years left. I turned 42 on Friday. Yes, happy birthday to me. And that's actually my real age. I've stopped lying about it because what the fuck ever. But you know, I've done a lot of thinking about the sort of what if I die deal, and it's like, well, I don't know what to think about it. Like in some ways, I'm very, very sad. I think about the idea of like having one last Christmas. How that's super sad, right? Or going to Disneyland one last time. Was my last trip to Disneyland the last trip? Here's the story about that last trip to Disneyland. It was supposed to be. It was the trip I planned kind of at the time when I thought I was dead meat. It was my Make-A-Wish Foundation to myself trip, you know, and it was good. Luxury, like I spent thousands. I did thousands and thousands of dollars going to Disneyland to stay at the Grand Californian. Big fat suite. We arrived at the Grand Californian and the Hummer limo. Like I just wanted it to be fucking everything. Just just ugh, awesome, and it was. It really was. But the day before we left for that trip, we'd just gotten like radiation was almost done, and we just gotten results of that last surgery, and like the margins were uninvolved, meaning they think they got it all. So we were like celebrating like mad, like I don't drink alcohol, but like it would I was partying, I was high, on the pot that I love, and you know I have a legitimate card for it, a legitimate prescription for it now. Um, no one's had a more legit prescription than me, and no one has taken more full advantage of it, by the way. But then after Disneyland, I came back. I had 1 or 2 radiation actual treatments left because they extended it. That was the other thing. They extended one of the courses of treatment. I was like there for 5 weeks, and they wanted to do 6.5. I'm like, cannot take any more radiation. I don't think you can see that it's like tan, kind of more tan here. If I took my tank top off, you'd be able to see. I have an area that's kind of like toasted, a little tanner than the rest, a little more cooked, and frankly a little more wrinkly and a little less attractive. That was where I had the radiation. Now, at the time of Disneyland, I was like sunburned right there. Like I was kind of scabby sunburned. It was really ugly. So the tank tops weren't as much of an option. And it was nice, and it was gay days and whatever. Don't get me started on gay days at Disneyland. Not a fan. Mostly because nobody pays any fucking attention to me. But no, on track. So I came back from Disneyland, and stuff came back, right? What was it? Came back from Disneyland. Things were okay for a really good time, for a few months, and then like what? There had been the right lung, the dot. They treated the left lung, and they treated the armpit. The right lung had a dot that was too small to even biopsy or test, much less do anything with. So like, yeah, leave that one alone for now. We have other stuff to do. When we got done, he's like, yeah, I'm looking at that, and it's actually getting bigger. I'm like, shit. But it was still small. It was getting bigger, but it was still small. So I'm like, all right, well, what do we do? More radiation. Okay. And I did that. Sorry for the headset bullshit. I just really don't want my hair to be sort of. And we did another thing of radiation, and I believe that worked for the right lung tumor. Here's the thing. The first day I heard I had sarcoma was the doctor said 2 things. It's stubborn, like it's in more than one place, and it comes back. That's, I guess, the worst thing you can kind of say about cancer, right? It's going to keep coming back, and it's going to be in more than one place. So it started with the lump in my pit. I guess I didn't finish the coming back from Mexico thing. I'm so sorry for being super high and rambly, but I promise this will hone. This will get better as I sort of I feel like I've told the story. I feel like you know the story at some point. So I will summarize and then continue. 2013, surgery on back shoulder after getting fired. Year in Mexico, everything was good. Come back, lump under my left arm. It stays the same size for a year, so I don't do anything with it. In retrospect, I probably could have gotten that surgery sooner and bought myself maybe some time, I guess. I don't know how much time I have left now, so I don't know how much time I would have bought myself if I had done that sooner. I waited about a year, 8 months, 10 months, and it started growing then, and then started getting uncomfortable. I'm like, fuck this, let's go get it. Got it taken out. It grew back. As it was growing back, they tested what they took out, and they were like, oh, came back positive for melanoma. Or this other possible really rare thing, but nobody gets that. It came back as melanoma, probably. Possibly that other rare thing, but probably not. It was the other rare thing. It was. It's not melanoma. Okay. Here's what we know. It's not melanoma. Why? Because it's growing back too fast. Melanoma does not grow back like that speed. So we don't know what it is. We know it's not melanoma. Right. My lead head doctor at the time, my head oncologist, also in those early meetings, gave me the thing as he was sort of finally figuring out that it wasn't melanoma. He's all, you don't want any part of melanoma. He kind of did a sigh of relief that it's not melanoma. I'm like, really? So you like this is better? I don't like putting doctors on the spot like that. I don't think it's fair, and I don't think they know. How much time do I have? What's the prognosis? How long will I live? I intentionally do not ask my doctors those questions because, you know, I don't feel like it's fair to nail them down at that. And yeah, I feel like if they had a kind of range, they'd kind of give it to me. This is so rare. I don't think they really have a kind of valid range. There's not enough people that get this to where they can know much, but they do know it's in more than one place, and they know it comes back. Stubborn and super rare. Like even in the rare class of tumors, this is like super, super rare. What I have is what my doctor, my radiation doctor said. I'm trying not to name names. But okay, but the one doctor originally said, "Thank God it's not melanoma." Whew. I'm like, really? Okay, okay. Because after that first surgery, they did think it was melanoma, and I didn't know at the time. My sister told me later. The surgeon who had done the surgery told her, what, 1 to 3 years or 2 to 4 years or some kind of range of time. I was expecting melanoma patients generally live after having a surgery like that. That was after surgery number 2. Because that was surgery number 2 was the first unconscious surgery. Well, 2013 was the first unconscious surgery, so that would have been the second unconscious surgery, where I was asleep. And at that time, we still thought it was melanoma. After that second unconscious surgery, the third overall surgery, because in the middle was the awake surgery where the lump was removed from under the armpit. And if you think keeping this straight is fun, believe me. So chronologically, fast forwarding now to this year, where I've had coming back at a couple places. PET scan shows it in my lungs again. I don't know where else. Where I'm going to maybe hear from the doctor later this week about that. I do know there's a lump on my side, a little tiny, kind of just under the skin, outside the rib cage, but under the skin on my left side, kind of right here. Doesn't hurt. You can poke it. You can kind of push it around, but it's a lump and it's getting bigger. And there's a dot next to it that's also kind of like not a zit. It's a more firm dot. It's still a lump, but it's a little tiny lump. Now, I had those biopsied, and the doctor who did those really kind of was extremely cool. Like, I mean, I have had some really awesome doctors. I've had one really shitty doctor who I wrote a letter about. I'll talk about her some other day. 98% of the doctors I've had have been spectacular, though, and including, by the way, the nurses in office and medical staffs too, because it's not just doctors I deal with, radiation technicians, and physician, like physicists. The physicist guy at the radiation place would sometimes talk to me, and that was cool. And stepping aside from the chronology a second, like one of the things I have been kind of admired for, as far as other people are telling me, is my attitude. Staying cheerful, not being kind of depressed about it, not being scared. I don't really take intentional credit for that. Like, that's just kind of how it has happened. I'm not being brave. I'm not putting up a brave front. I'm just living it. What am I going to do? Weep all day? Yeah, what am I, seriously? Like, I would love to just kind of weep all day. Oh, woe is me. Woe is me. Have I done that? Honestly, no. I've had a couple of moments where I really did cry for a second, because I'm like, oh, and it was from those things of thinking about those thoughts, like, oh, and it was actually one of the times was last year before Disneyland. I thought, will this be my last trip to Disneyland? And it was about a week before. And then later before the trip, about a week before Disneyland, I thought this will be my last trip. And I cried. It might have been actually the first time I cried after knowing I had cancer. Because, in a way you're just shell shocked. In a way you're just sort of trying to do what you got to do. I still have my job. I still have stuff to do. I have kind of responsibilities. A business I like and I'm happy to run and having fun with. And it's just I finally did cry that one time, and then it kind of was over really quick. Like, well, again, tears, that's cool, but what's it gonna do? It's not fixing anything. It gathers no food. That's the thing from Star Trek. What was it? Oh yeah, I don't understand. The aliens didn't understand kissing. It completes no work. It gathers no food. What is the purpose? Val, the Val episode of Star Trek. Awesome. Anyway, so yeah. Then this doctor who did the biopsy of these things on my side last week was talking about to me about how they pop. These things kind of keep growing back, and they pop and they spread and they grow, other places. Now you're hitting whack-a-mole kind of when you have this, getting them cut out surgically, getting them removed radiation. They never tried chemo because they kind of knew it didn't work. That comes back later. They know chemo doesn't work on this, at least at stage 4. And that's the other thing. People don't really know what the stages are. Like stage 4 just means it moved, right? It metastasized, if you like. It went from the original place where it was, wherever that may be, to another place. Once it's done that, it's stage 4. I didn't know. At that point, the point I was reading the cancer stages, I still thought this was melanoma. So this is how much learning I've done. And by the way, again, one thing I don't even know as this broadcast is going is how long I've been on. So I'm just going to kind of not try and pay attention to that. I really like knowing the time because I feel like rambling continuously is not good. But hey, whatever. I'm done with work. I'm high. I'm going to a scan in a little while. And for the life of me, I don't even know what this scan is for anymore. There have been so many scans. You know what? I know what I'm going to do. This will be interesting. I'm going to try and do this in a way that doesn't reveal my information. Come on. I'm going to try because I realized my scans are online. Now, this is not a thing about privacy. This is not. What is it here? Oh, I know where it is. Like my registration for the appointment. Where'd that go? Yeah. Ah, yes. Okay, I remember now. No, not that. Huh. Sorry, it's taking a sec to actually get it to come up here. That's just directions. So maybe I can't do this as easily as I thought. Hold on. Let's do this. I want to go to this page here. Expedite your check-in. Here we go. Register. Royals. Okay, that's what I want. The Royals. Yes. Oh, the password. Shit. Do I know the password for this? Now I'm officially just fucking like rambling. No, I do know the password. Hold on. You're going to see a scan of me in a minute. If you hang through with this, or if you're watching this on a recording. Cross your fingers. It worked. Okay. So yeah, I just discovered, and I don't know why this is interesting to me to do here. But the images. Is it going to work? I'm going to screen share this. Holy shit. Okay, here it's working. Now, whatever. I mean, in a way, this is, I guess, sharing or oversharing. But there's me. Okay. I don't know exactly what I'm going to see here. Okay, there's, I think, the lungs. If you see the scan kind of, I'm scrolling my mouse wheel downward, and I think it is going in a vertical kind of plane from my head toward my chest, through my chest. I think you're seeing my kidneys there in the back. You see my spinal cord. If you're looking, and then if you're looking here, you will see kind of the veins in my lungs, right? Kind of those little streaks in the dark spaces are the veins in my lungs. You may be able to see. I mean, one of these dots may be actually the cancer, or you know what? This one If you see it toward the bottom on the right side, this kind of flurry of stuff right there on the right hand side, I almost feel like that might be like what was left of the tumor after the radiation, like it was destroyed. Anyway, I know this is weird and maybe even creepy for some people, but oh yeah, this is the other way, right? You can see my ribs. I don't know. Is this a trip? Like, I feel like this is a real trip, and being able to just sort of put this on YouTube, I wanted to do that. Like I did. Like for some reason, I wanted to be able to um, just let that get seen. Now I'm probably going to regret that. Like, are there secret codes on here that probably I shouldn't have let you see? Maybe, but I don't know. I just wanted to see what that looked like. It may be that I will be, it. I hate to try and just be cavalier about it, but the truth is, I might be dead in a year for all I know. Like this might be my last whatever of this, and so in some ways, I don't really care that I get. In fact, if I am going to be dead, then I'm happy I got to show you that. It's one of those things where only after the murder case is completed will the FBI agents go on Dateline, with Keith Morrison. God, I watch a lot of Dateline with Keith Morrison. So I think that's kind of where we're at. I know there's more masses in my lungs. I don't know how many or where or how big. I know there's 2 on my side here. There may be other places. I'm going in for another scan this morning. The radiation oncologist later in the week. Thursday. That's right. They moved it because I didn't want to go to the doctor on my birthday. And I am doing sun sounds on my birthday. So I'm literally going to be reading the news for the blind on Friday night. I may go out and do something after. For my birthday. We'll see. I haven't really made plans yet because, I mean, the truth is, let me just look at my calendar. I may work on Saturday morning. No, I do not. I work Saturday afternoon, though. I don't know. Maybe I could take those classes off and just have the weekend. Party weekend. Ooh, ooh. But the problem is I'm like paying my taxes and doing other things, and I haven't paid taxes for my new kind of job configuration yet. So I don't know what to expect at all, and I'm really worried about that. But if I die tomorrow, what I want remembered is that I was happy right before. I've talked a little bit here. I talked in the sarcoma update about how, what I wanted to do. Well, this will be how I close it, I guess. I wanted to plug my lights back in. It is not allowed to really have these lights on in the English classes in China. Ow. There we go. I love these animated LED lights. So I'm doing lots of stuff. I don't know what's to come. I really don't. But I'm trying, again, it's kind of the alcoholic mantra, or I don't know, is that an alcoholic thing where you just live one day at a time? I think that's just kind of a smart life thing, to live one day at a time. And have a good time as much as possible, right? And that's kind of what I'm doing. I have 2 jobs that are kind of great for me. I can do them from my bed, and the truth is I'm not sick. Like I could be a teacher in real class somewhere and still be going. It may be that the chemo we're about to try, that that will change. I may not be able to work as 100% as I have been. Maybe 95%. There have been a couple of times where, for instance, I looked at my company, right, the personal business venture, the sort of secret third job that I have, and they have great analytics as far as the money that you're making per month. And the one real dip below like the 80th percentile, 77, I think I've hit, which is the lowest I hit the entire time I've had this, was when I was healing up from the surgery, right? There was a dip in some productivity right after that second major surgery. Really, it was the second unconscious surgery, what I've described here as the third surgery, counting 2013. 2013 was 1, and then in 2016 I had like 3 or 4 last year. Have I had surgery this year? I think so. No, I guess it was in December when I had surgery last. I actually compiled a whole thing of it for my tablet. A whole presentation. I could even throw it up here. I won't do it now, but I will another time on another one of these telecasts, which I plan to kind of do regularly just because I want to talk about it, but I don't want people to see it. It's weird. I don't understand that about myself. That was how I started this podcast originally. Was I did it here on YouTube and then never shared it on Facebook because I didn't want my Facebook people to really see it. I did hundreds of those shows. Every single night, I had different themes every the night. Like that's where I started Game Show Tuesday, and God, I miss doing Game Show Tuesday. Now that I know this computer can do this, I may get back to it. Oh my God. I am breaking out. That's the other thing. If I die soon, like it's going to be a tragedy because I never really had one good year where I wasn't freaking breaking out in zits. It's bullshit, man. Yeah, I'm doing all right. There's things I wonder, like my hair. Am I going to lose it? I think so. It doesn't look good. So if I come with a shaven head one day, suddenly it's because I know that I'm going to lose my hair, and I'd rather shave it off than have it look, like I'm losing it. And that's when you look sickest is when you look like you're losing your hair. If you just sort of shave it off, suddenly it's a bold statement of masculinity and blah blah blah. Make it so. But one good thing is, where's my airbrush? Where I can wear hats is what I was going to say. So I'm actually able to really. I've gotten to wear hats. So if I'm bald from chemo, I guess I can do the ball cap thing. I'll be all right. People survive chemo. If anybody can, I can. I'm just not necessarily looking forward to it. There's other stuff that's going on. Like, do you know what a port is? I sure do. I have to call and have one installed in me because there's going to be so many needle injections. They just want to have an instant line into my bloodstream. So that's what it be. So yeah, maybe I could do, if I were a heroin person, I could just put heroin right in there, I guess. Maybe I could put everything. I could put like peas and carrots, Tootsie Rolls. I don't know. It seems like, who knows? I don't know how big that portion could be. Probably really small. Not big enough for a Tootsie Roll? Oh, well, what if you roll it really thin? Tootsie Roll, you can stretch it, Threading a Tootsie Roll into my cancer chemo port. Yes. Well, hey, you can't say I'm not having a sense of humor about this bullshit. Can't say my headset's cooperating either. I will stop here and wrap up. Try and look for these updates maybe once a week. Maybe more if stuff happens. If I'm feeling it. I should just start doing my show again, cBas After Dark. I have all the graphics still. I didn't know I could do that with this camera or computer. In fact, it was originally the other way around. This tablet was the transmitter for that podcast. I would sit facing my thing, the little camera up here, and I would do the podcast. And then this computer would actually be the computer on the screen, like displaying cBas After Dark, blah, blah, blah. But this is actually a better way to do it. Because now I can have this and just manipulate it, I could do my presentation. These are great. Do you know about, these are my news screens. Like, I don't know how to show it so there's no reflection. That guy, there's a funny caption of that guy, which I don't know what it is. This is the victim of Kick a Ginger Day. It's not showing up the captions on the screensaver. So the screensaver is just essentially a bunch of random people from random newscasts around the world. What's funny? Oh, there's the kitty. But anyway, so nobody watched this one, and there will be more cogent discussion of my condition and treatment after. I do think this is going to be a short film because I think my story is a good story, and I want to share it before I die. So that's my goal. I mean, I have a number of goals, and that's the other thing I learned last year was set goals, even if they're impossible, because sometimes they have a way of becoming possible. And I do believe in that because I kind of self-actualized it last year. And now it's just a matter of setting goals. Like I have a 5-year goal. I have a 10-year goal. Because think about that, in 2027, where will we be in 2027? I know where I want to be. I know where I plan to be. And I know where I'm going to try to be. So, 10 years, motherfucker. We're going to try. Yeah, feel free to comment. I don't really, know if I'll read many comments or care much about the feedback from this, but yeah, why not? If you have cancer or you know somebody who's fighting or you have feedback on how you think I'm handling it, because I don't know, please call 1-800-EAT-SHIT. No, you can call me. My number is still 310-776-KUNZ. That's 310-776-5869. You can text that number. I prefer text, actually, but I take calls. I used to take calls and put them on from just my buddies across the country, my Trekkie buddies who know me, and would get high and watch the show and call in. Hey man, I'm watching you. It's just stellar broadcasting. Okay, wrapping it up. No fear. Except I don't even know what my appointment today is, so I'm kind of scared of that. Like, what are they going to do to me? Scan me? Something? It's at a weird imaging center I've never been to, also because they wanted it faster, sooner rather than later. So they put me across town, which is fine. But I don't even know what I'm having done. I don't know any of the people at this place. I just hope they're nice to me. I will report back tomorrow. More to come.